Hello, everyone. This is Beverly Knox Davis, and welcome to another episode of A Brighter Day. This is our amazing podcast where we just bring in amazing people to talk about great and wonderful things. Today, we have the pleasure of having Dr. Kelly Little with us. Hello, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
He's
Very honored to be here.
just an amazing person, and you all are going to see that in just a moment. But we are excited to be able to have him here. He does so many things, and so you're seeing probably episode 2 of this. Just, I cannot wait to dive in. So let me just hush. Thank you all. Check us out on all of the platforms and, reach out to us if you have a story or have any kind of connections to Hoskins or A Brighter Day and you feel like you need to come and share your story to encourage someone else. Just reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to have you on the next episode. So here we are again and just excited to be able to continue our discussion. But you actually do a lot in the area of encouraging men, supporting families, and women. I can't wait to get into that part of our discussion. But tell us what encouraged you to want to focus and help, especially with people of color and helping with that family dynamic and just encouraging the men and then that other part, the women. So how did you decide to be that inspiration in that area?
I think for me, actually, I know for me, scriptures talks about from whence you came. And so from whence I came is in a home in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I was with 7 women in the household.
Wow. Okay. That
And
explains a lot.
yes, and so from an intuitive stance, I picked up a lot of the intuitiveness that women had.
Okay.
I also had the older guys in my neighborhood, cousins, different things like that. Like they too busy in their space that they'll come mess with you, hug you up, tell you certain things, but they were so busy ripping and running that it was a lot of times women who helped with developing, taught me how to throw my first football, how to shoot the basketball. And as I got older, those older cousins, or what we call old heads in Philadelphia, they taught you the game of basketball. We had the conversation, but everything starts with building a solid foundation. And that solid foundation was because women were considered to be the nurturers. What I have to say though, there was many nurturers that didn't know they were nurturers. And I'm going to even include the guys that was on the block doing certain things that taught me a whole lot. And actually they stopped me when I was sliding backwards and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. And so I had to be completely honest.
They jacked you up.
Yeah,
You need those.
they jacked you up and they said, look, because I boxed, football, basketball. They was like, hey, look, you can do this with all of us, and we're a little stronger than you right now. But the bigger thing was that they wanted to see me win, right? And so, and them wanted to see me win. And again, back to the women who had molded, supported, encouraged, put their hands on me. Not probably, many who prayed for me.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All played a central role. And watching that, I knew that it was my role, my responsibility at an early age. But when I got older, that's when the vision came. So it wasn't even what I thought, because everything I do is tied to an assignment, not to like, oh, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to do this. No,
Yeah.
I got it through a divine calling, visions. So
I don't know how
put me in
people
space.
move when it's not in alignment with a higher power. None of what you see with A Brighter Day would have ever taken place if I just wasn't directly aligned. So I totally get that. And it's not going to come to fruition. At least not whatever you may have in your mind. If it's not God ordained, I don't care what anybody says. That's it. The end. So I can appreciate that. So tell us, you're a male doula. He is a male doula. And I asked him, is he the only one in the world? Because I had just never heard that. And what made you decide to do that? Because that's huge. And I think once people hear your reasoning, it's going to be very enlightening, like it was for me.
So, first and foremost, as I was navigating, I'm working with men and fathers. We live in a society where, in particular, in the black families, we're not the same way we used to be in the 60s. And so, with not as many two parent homes, then I see and talk with a lot of young males who may be missing their dads, and a lot of fathers who want to see their kids, and understanding that um, maternal health deaths, 80% are preventable if we can get men and fathers to be in that process with the mothers to help advocate, or what we say uh, in my space is, which is davocate for women. And so this was an opportunity to minimize the 80% of preventable deaths through teaching men how to support women through trimester 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because even when they're in a home, or even when they're involved, a lot of times when you go to the visits, you're not greeted the same way. They don't call you by your name. You didn't feel welcome. And I've had some tremendous people like Eugenia Grada, who actually runs a doula program through Novant. And then so many powerful sisters embraced me and was like, this is dope. They appreciated it.
Absolutely.
And most people thought that even when I was going through the process and learning certain things, that women wouldn't allow me to be in that space. And even a lot of the doctors was very welcoming to me in that process. And then I got a shout out also Dr. Carmenia, who actually worked for the American Heart Association. She was also a very supporting vessel. And then to your point, to the males who most people don't see who are doulas, I got at least, I can count off about 12 brothers who we get together. And when we go to DC to advocate with congressmen and congresswomen, it's a grip of us that's there.
12 from all over the world, y'all. One, two. But, that's more than, because I thought you would literally be the only one because I had never heard of this. And then when I understood the perspective that you have taken on this particular role and going through all of the certifications and having that credential, I said, wow, this is so just amazing. When I was going through my pregnancies and was married at the time, this would have been so wonderful for my ex-husband to have gone through, because a lot of stuff he didn't understand what was happening to me, didn't know what to say or do. And then with being an African American female, I dealt with the fibroid tumors, and so it created a lot of extra issues that it was supposed to just be a regular normal pregnancy in my mind, because I was a gym rat at the time and very busy. I said, hey, I'm going to be able to go to all of my classes. I'll just go to the hospital, have the baby, and I'll be back at the gym in just a couple of weeks. That was my plan. No, that's not how it happened. And went through postpartum depression and dealing with a lot of emotions. I remember going out of the house for the first time after having the baby. And this is my first child. And I completely lost it. It was too much. It was too many people, and I just flipped out. And my ex-husband didn't know what to do or say. He had not been educated on anything, so it was really hard and tough in our marriage at the time because he didn't really know how to help me. But if he had gone through this type of just a course where there was someone that looked like him that could explain some of the things that was going on with me instead of him calling me crazy. I'm just not crazy. But it's just the hormones and everything. So I think that's amazing. So what type of feedback have you gotten from, say, fathers that have encountered you to help them navigate?
Very grateful and appreciative. One, because now they can understand certain things which they heard passed through other people. The other piece is it also gave them a brotherhood of men who was navigating that journey at the time. It taught them how to advocate for their wife, their girlfriend, their significant other, their child, their grandchild. It also gave them a concept of what was actually going on. Like, hormonally, trimester 1, physical changes with the body, and 2, 3, you got to figure out labor and delivery. Why it's important to go to all the visits, not only just the birth, but also the visits where they're going and consulting with their doctor, so that whatever they're going over in their birth plan, all that's acknowledged and respected. They know that wife, that girlfriend, that significant other, that daughter better than the doctor. So it helps because you're all a part of a clinical team. The doctors, the nurses are the clinical experts, but you're arming dad to be able to support mom. Let's say, for instance, it's not going right and she's got an epidural. How can mom make informed consent if she's under the influence of this epidural? Or while her body is dealing with emotions or the physical changes, she may not have a word to go with what she's feeling. He can help her in terms of, oh, you remember this, or this is happening. He should be there to help encourage the hydration, getting the vitamins, eating the fruits, staying away from the burger and the things that may cause, but also his awareness around like eclampsia, preeclampsia, diabetes that may have arisen as a result of this. And then also doing the research on the hospitals of whether or not they have a high rate of C-sections. Is this going to be the best hospital? Tapping in and trusting her intuition, or when he feel like what she's expressing isn't being acknowledged or validated, then he plays another role. And all this together, like North Carolina, we actually went from a D to a C in terms of maternal health equity. So we making progress.
That's good. That's good because there's a lot of deaths, right?
Yes.
A lot of deaths from African Americans. So this educating, that's so important, and making sure that you're picking the right resources for your specific situation. This isn't cookie cutter, and it needs to be a partnership between the mother and the father. So let's shift because I think
before we shift, let me say one other thing.
Go ahead.
During this time, like if you're not paying attention and you need your stomach rub and you're in pain, and as a male you're not doing that, you're going to drift apart.
Yes.
But if you're completely locked in and activated through the process, what should happen is you should grow closer together, which also helps ensure that, because that baby going to feel everything and all that energy y'all putting out, and we'll normalize what should happen when either, if it's a daughter, she's going to pick the right male to be supportive of her. If it's a son, he's going to know how to do the same thing with the next person. So you're really preparing not only your relationship, but relationships 7 generations forward, because you're teaching it and passing it, because you're normalizing why this is well and the appropriate thing to do.
Wow. And that's all full circle, because that baby will be born. And then if you've carried that child a certain way and there wasn't that partnership there, then now the family dynamic is going to change. That child is going to grow up with all of that on the inside. And my mother used to tell me all of this. You're going to make that baby angry. And I did not believe anything that she was saying, but it happened. My son acted out, and even I had a relative ask me, "Is he okay?" Because he would stare a hole through you, and she was like, "He just looks like he wants to kill all of us." But he grew up and became just a very angry young man, and we had to navigate that and find programs. And he was a part of the Boys to Men Foundation, and I think Fowler, God knows I love you. I said you are an extension of our family, and now my son is 24, and absolutely it took having programs like that that I know you have as well, and so many others that do great work with our young men that may have been carried in an angry way, or grew up and just had to deal with so many things. But my son is amazing now,
Love it.
and to have broken that now, he will, yeah. So that part's still in there, but he controls it very well now, and I'm super proud of him. But he would not have gotten there without men like you and Mr. Fowler with Boys to Men Foundation, and so many others that contributed along the way.
That's my
But
guy.
oh yeah, and I know they're all connected, which is so good, because a lot of times what you see in this community world, this my thing over here. This I don't want anybody. Your name can't be at the top of the flyer with mine, So we separate and segregate when that's not how it should be. So I have an appreciation for the male programs that I see working together. It makes a huge difference. Collaboration, because we're in this
That's
together.
right.
We want to save all of our children and make sure that, they are equipped to go out in this world to be nothing but great. So tell us about some of your programs that focus on youth.
So before I get to the youth, let me say this, because as you was talking about the anger, I just want to orient everybody. It's a book. The body keeps its score, right? And so if we don't check what the body is trying to tell us, because you often hear people talk about adverse childhood experiences and trauma informed care. But if I'm trauma informed, trauma responsive, and trauma sensitive, I'm still rooted in the problem. I believe in the solution. So what
Yes.
solutionaries do is they operate from a healing centered engagement space.
I
They
love
they
that.
prioritize the fact that resilience without recharge is death while living. So if we keep running around here thinking we're going to operate from all this trauma and never stop and pause and do a self evaluation of
Yes.
ourselves, because I could be bleeding, I can have an aneurysm, all those different things, but I'm resilient. I'm resilient. Well, even a rubber band, if you pull it back too many times, it's going to pop.
That's true.
Yet, if we take 1 second, we teach them the the art of healing, and we show that we are healing ourselves, because none of us none of us is healed.
No,
We're always healing from something.
that's true.
And so, to your point, as you go to that, that requires us to be centered around people who are constantly engaging the healing, mind, body, spirit, soul. And in that, as you ask about some of the services, one of them is the STEM Academy, right? The rites of passage. You're teaching them emotional intelligence. You're teaching them social emotional learning. You're teaching them how to navigate, not to be bullied. That this is about response, not reaction. And as you build that capacity and build the capacity to realize that none of us can solve this by ourselves, we got to have a boys and men. We got to have a male's place. We got to step up the leadership. So all these brothers are doing tremendous work in the community, and I consider all them brothers of mine. So if I'm at capacity, I'm sending them over to their program if I feel like they're a better fit for that program, because it doesn't require me to be the vessel all the time.
That's right.
Sometimes it may be another vessel that can impact them quicker, and I'm very intentional on that. And I look at the Greg Jacksons, I look at Don Thomas, who does a lot of work with Europe regionally. I look at Lakeview, and we all, to your point, we're all connected. So
Yes,
shout out to Jamal Sundiata,
I know.
brother Marifo Quelly, and Greer Heights. I do work over in Greer Heights. So we need support. We need
Yes,
resources, because these young people sometimes may have never been 3 blocks out of their own
that's
community.
so true. Yes, I saw there was a Mr. Singleton.
Yeah, right over in
Yeah.
South Africa.
Oh my goodness. And he's done this several
Several times.
times. So just amazing experience for the young boys. So one young man goes to my church, and I mean his mom is always so excited for him to be a part of it. So I'm always I watch this particular young man, and he is wow. You can tell all of the work that mom is putting in, but definitely how much the program is assisting him to and becoming such an awesome young man. So I think it's great to see various organizations working together and doing what's best for our youth. It has nothing to do with egos. It has nothing to
Right.
do with any of this. I just want to see people win. And so even with what we're doing here at A Brighter Day, I could care less. If you can go across the street to another program and we can't do everything. There are other organizations that focuses on housing. So I let people know, hey, we're going to make a phone call. And the experts in housing, that's what they're going to do. They're going to take you under their wing, or peer support, or mental health, whatever it may be. And having those levels of partnerships, it means that we don't have to know everything here. And just like you said, and then working with the other organizations, you look for the best fit for the young person. And that's what's most important. So thank you for all that you do in that capacity. Any words of wisdom that you would like to share with the people, or even with A Brighter Day, on things that we need to be doing differently here to make things better for our young people, for the family unit, or even, our men?
I'll say this, and as you brought up Brother Reggie, some call him Baba Reggie, but because that's definitively a brother of mine, one of the things that he does really, really well is, as the CEO, he's got elders who pour into, and so we've forgotten the impact of the infinite wisdom of our elders, and
Yes.
how that exchange helps to fulfill young people, but then also fulfill the elders. So as we're serving young people, include some of the elders in there. Bring people out. Reggie do a great job of bringing others out to speak to his young people, and then exposing them to different places. And I've seen and been out back and watched how, and this is Doc, who is this? Alyssa Chengary, clerk of court, says, has this quote, and I use it all the time: "How you see people is how you serve people."
Ooh, that's good. That's
So
really good.
if I'm not seeing all of you, like you hear people, I don't see that you white, I don't see that you black. If you don't see my color, then you don't see me. You know what I mean? Because my melanin is what helped
That's
me
true.
navigate in a way.
Okay.
But then, in addition to that, it's important that we're teaching young people to be able to advocate for themselves early and speak up for themselves, because the minute they realize that their voice is critically important, because like some people say, I'm gonna make sure I'll get a platform, I'm gonna create a, no, you can't create a voice because they already got a voice. What we gotta do is make sure they can elevate their voice, but then also still be a part of the race. Because if you let me come to the race, but I can't run in it, or you got all these barriers in it for me, then
You're not gonna be
that's
successful.
not equity.
Right.
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 And so I just challenge organizations to see that and realize that they don't have to compromise just to grab certain funding, right? Understand the opportunities that exist in the community outside of the grants. Get the grants,
Yep.
but I also need you to you do something really, really well, sell that service, and then get those speaking engagements, and then expose young people to all those things, because it's not for us just expose them to something and never let them do anything in the organization, as well as every year get their voice, get their family's voice, because that's going to help you to improve your program.
Wow. That's good. That's really good. I know even our seniors, they love being active here. We have a group of ladies who every time they know we get food here, they come through, they go through everything, they make sure that excellence leaves this place. You know, they say a lot of times, you know, the food is the end of life. Well, we're not sending out anything. Don't speak that
That
because
part.
just don't do it. So they're going to go through it and make sure that it's top quality when it leaves here. And then, so what I started doing is letting some of the young people work with some of our seniors, and they just created a whole thing. And it took me back to when my grandmother used to be on the back porch snapping peas with her friends, and I got a chance to sit there, and then they started teaching me how to snap peas, which that was like a curse, honestly. But not really. I just thought it was the horrible thing because my fingers were hurting and all that. But I learned so much from being a part of that dynamic. So we've recreated that here without even knowing we were creating it, because it just naturally happened, because we decided to incorporate our seniors and allowing the young people who just walked up and saw what was going on and said, "Can I help?" You just have to build an opportunity for them to want to be a part of something, and then you just watch it grow. So you continue to do that on a daily basis, and we're so happy to have you here today and to know all of the wonderful things that you continue to do in the community.
Look, I'm grateful to be here once again, and one of the most humble people I know, because I've been back there with them women. That's an army.
Yes.
And the precision, the effectiveness, and efficiency that I've seen back there, to include one of the hardest working men I've seen too, will clean that whole area out.
Oh, Pop. Mr. Fletcher. Yes,
Yes.
he is amazing. He keeps us, we are citation free. So thank you for being here and sharing so much. If you all want to know any more about him, he's everywhere. It just took me, putting his name out there to do a search, and a whole list of things came back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, will I have enough time to go through it? But he's done so much. So, Dr. Little, we are so happy to have had you here today and for having just all of your wisdom shared with the people. And thank you all so much for joining us for this another amazing episode of A Brighter Day podcast. Check us out on all platforms. We love you. We're here right every day, just about here at 510 Sinclair Street here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So join us and follow us and come on by and volunteer. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Donate, donate, donate.
Donate. Yes. Go to the website. It's a donate button right there. Thanks for throwing that in.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, everybody.